Hello, I'm Richard Crookston, High Priest Group Leader in the Allen Third Ward. I'm going to show you a little bit how I am doing family history with my ward members, particularly with my ward council. So once you sign in, you will get into Family Search, and when you're in Family Search, the location you want to go to is Get Help. I believe you can do this. I'm a family history consultant, but I can believe that family history or just the high priest group leader or any member can do this also. So if you go to Get Help and you go down to Help Others, this is different than the Help Others, which is underneath it. You got to go to the very top and pull down the Get Help menu and go to the bottom. Once you get that, you have the opportunity to work with other members, and you can do it through invitations. And so if you invite somebody, you just click on invite, and you can put in their full name and their email address and then send it. It sends them an email. They have the option to accept it. If they accept it, it will automatically connect you to their, or give you the capability to connect to their Family Search sign-in. So when you invite them, people will stay under here, and they're invited until you actually go ahead and until they actually accept the invitation. And once they accept it, they come over here and you have access to theirs. I'm going to go ahead and go to my wife. This is my ward council, so that I'm not going to worry about confidentiality. When you click on their name, it'll bring up their web information about them. So you can see this is my wife, and it shows her fan chart. But instead of showing just 4 generations, this actually takes you out to 6 generations. It shows you when they last logged in, their last reservation, last time they've added memory, and the last source they've added. You've got, if you go down further, you can go ahead and create a lesson. If you're a family history consultant, you can just put a lesson in here and tell what you want to do, give examples so you can track your lesson. You can also create notes, which is what I'm going to do. And so what I end up doing is I go and find something where the person can do some have success at family history, not just finding the green temples, but actually doing some work. And so what we're going to do is, if I go through, I usually go around the very top and look to see what's done here. I usually stick with the United States first. That's easier. So if I look at this one here, I got a Sarah Gordon. If I click on it, it gives me information on that. This person has 45 sources, not probably one where I want to go to. However, I am working with her on this one because it's in North Carolina, and I've gone back 1 generation. Same thing with Thomas Guyman, and I'm having quite a big success there, even though there's 31 sources, 76 memories. It's just a large amount at him because he is the direct line of all the pioneers of his descendants. Come over here. Here's one over here. One source, Illinois. Another one is Levi Dexter. And 2 sources, he's also Illinois. So I actually went to, so if I click on him, I can actually go there. And what I end up doing is going into their tree. And I'll view the tree in a descendants mode. So I'll click View Descendancy. And I will turn off the photos because they take a lot of room, or the portraits, and then I go out 3 or 4 generations and look to see somebody that doesn't have very many children or doesn't have a spouse. I kind of scroll through, look at the different symbols we have here, the helps and so forth. After doing that, I find an area which I think there's some help, and I did this previously, so this wouldn't be a long videotape. So this is Levi Dexter Metcalf. So I went down a few to George, and when you get there, notice I'm still working on my wife, so anything I do in here will be under her name. So I'll go in there and I see George, and I notice he only has a few sources. He has 4 children, all in the 1880s and so forth. But when I looked up it under the descendancy, I noticed that most of these children didn't have spouses, so I'm going to look for a spouse. Most likely, if I find any children, they'll be after the 1907 and won't be able to do work, but spouses' work can be done. So I'll go here, and I'm going to go ahead and look and see what this Texas death is. So if I click on that, I find that the son, Roy, I have a death date in Texas, and I know from previously that he did not have a wife connected to him. So I did a little more work, and I went up to find a grave for this person, found his grave, and it's got his wife in there. So what I would do for the person is I would find of the grave, and I would copy that, and I would paste it as a note. There we go, so I can copy it. I would go back into my planner, I would create a note, and let's see, create a note, and I would go ahead and, well, I'm going to go ahead and put in the find a grave, but I want to put the person's name ahead of that. So they've got 2 places, so I'll go to Roy, and I copy this right up here that gives all his information, his name, his dates, and his Family Search tracking number, and go back to the consultant planning, and I'll put this here, and you can see I've got his name, I've got his date, and I've got where my wife can go to find it, and then she can also go find a grave. And I'll put a little note that he is missing his wife, which is in find a grave. And then I'll put submit. So now I've got a note here, so when I go and help that person, I can give this information. I'll also copy it and put it into an email. Now when I go back to Roy, which I looked and found his information, and I would go ahead and add this source and encourage them to use all of the sources they can, do a family search, find anything in the censuses, because that's where you find missing children. And if I go to the top, there's a little flag here called watch. When you click that, it goes onto a watch list. Very few patrons or very few members are using that, so I use it as a flag to help them find the one where I want them to go work. And so if you go under list, you will find his name right there, Ray Jordan Metcalf, and if you click on that, it takes you right to him, to the person. I've actually flagged a few other ones. There's one here where he has his first wife all through the census, but he's missing his second wife, which has 2 more children. All the work can be done there. It's also on the watch list. And then I put this one on a watch list, and there's work to be done, but not for a few years on that one, but there's other ones on that. So I've helped my wife out on places to go look to do some work. So that's basically the route that I go. Get help, help others, invite, accept, and then I go in and I find something and I add it to their watch list. And I send them an email, then I go over and meet with them, and I've had a lot of success. So I hope this helps you. Thank you. Bye.